All right, happy Tuesday, folks. Welcome to our weekly BlueStar TeleHealth webinar for the sales team. It's 3 minutes after 1, so we'll officially get going. As usual, this will be recorded and edited and then placed on the website for viewing later on. And as usual, we'll try to go fast so that we don't keep you any longer than we have to. And when you have questions, go ahead and type them into the question box and we will get to them all as best we can before the end of the webinar. I have 4 things to talk about today, and not in any particular order. The first one is there is a FQHC telehealth reimbursement program, which has been out in the past. And basically, it's the government reimbursing health centers and other nonprofits for work that they do in providing telehealth, which includes RPM. And there was already a $200 million tranche of it before, and now they're doing another tranche of $200 to $240 million. It's a reimbursement program, not a grant program. You basically apply. In the first $200 million, there were 539 awards. And then this filing window is open from April 29th to May 6th. So the folks at VitalTech have put together a great little info sheet on it, and I emailed it to all of you. And if for some reason you're not on our email distribution list, send me a note and I'll make sure I get it to you. But this is a situation in which you could walk into any federally qualified health center and say, hey, we can give you this stuff for free and let us help you apply for the reimbursement program and use VitalTech and BlueStar to be your facilitation partner to provide telehealth. So item 1 is read the email that I sent you, federally qualified health center, FQHC, and it's a reimbursement program for $200 million, and applications are due around May 1st. That's topic 1. Topic 2 is a company called 100 Plus. There are a bunch of telehealth and remote patient monitoring companies out there. 100 Plus is the current darling of Wall Street in providing RPM to the physicians market. And the CEO of this company had a previous company that provided software to physicians. And now that they're not doing that company anymore, they're providing a new software to physicians, and it's RPM software. So they're called 100 Plus. And they've been invested in by KKR, the big Wall Street private equity firm, probably the leading one in the country. Just invested $25 million in them. Dr. Oz is one of their shareholders. Tony Robbins is one of their shareholders. They have a really star-studded team, and they're currently adding about $1 million of annual recurring revenue a month. $1 million of annual recurring revenue. They're adding that every month, and they expect to go even faster. And so here's their pitch. Are you ready? Easy to sign up. That's what BlueStar does also. No equipment hassles for the physician. In other words, you don't have to own the equipment. You don't have to worry about the equipment. We, 100 Plus, will just ship it directly to your patient. It never passes through your office. Does that sound familiar? That's what BlueStar does. We give you the billing data at the end of the month. So all you have to do is take an electronic file from us and then bill. Wow. That's one of their big attributes in their sales campaign. Well, that's exactly what BlueStar does. It will be profitable from day one. In other words, your reimbursements will exceed your costs. That's what BlueStar does. No new staff processes because everything is done off-site. Actually, when they say that, it's not really true because they don't do monitoring. They only do hardware and software, and it's all web-based. So they want you to go onto their website, sign up, and then when you have a new patient, you enter them in. They ship the software. They ship the hardware. They use the software, and they just send you a bill at the end of the month. It's up to the doctor's office to monitor. So if you ask me, that's a pretty significant staff process on the part of the doctor's office, which 100 Plus isn't currently doing. BlueStar can do all of that just the way they described. Plus, we can do the monitoring. Now, we don't have Dr. Oz on our shareholder list. Tony Robbins is not on there either. We do have some pretty impressive people that have been impressive in other careers other than being on TV. But when you look at 100 plus on a par basis to us, we do everything that they do, and we do it just as simply, and we do the monitoring. So in reality, we can actually do more than 100 plus is doing. And they're signing up $1 million of revenue a month. And we can do the same thing. They signed up 30,000 patients in their first year of business. So point number one is the leader in this industry is leading because they're making it easy for the doctor. And we did not collaborate in coming up with our game plan. In fact, I had never even heard of 100 plus when we came up with our game plan, but we just knew that we wanted to make it simple for the doctor. So either coincidentally or in some other fashion, we came up with the same basic game plan, except we're making it even easier because if the doctor wants, we can do the monitoring. So my takeaway, my feeble, unrehearsed takeaway for this point number 2 of our 4-point session today is that the leader in the industry is doing exactly what BlueStar is doing and less. Okay? Point number 3, here's some interesting numbers. They're not very long. The first number is that the CEO of 100 Plus feels that in the small and medium size physician market, that there's a 4% penetration of RPM. In other words, 24 out of 25 doctors' offices do not have RPM. And that's why he's very excited, and that's why his team is excited, and that's why Wall Street is excited, because they feel that RPM makes so much sense and the penetration is so low that they feel like they have lots of opportunity to grow. And that's the way BlueStar feels too. I don't know where this CEO got the 4% number, but regardless, it's a small number. And any of you that have been out there, we haven't run into very many offices that already have RPM in place. So number 1 is 4% penetration. Number 2 is, according to some statistics that I came across this week, and they're not perfect, but they give you an idea. There's about 40,000 offices, physicians' offices across the country that have only one practitioner. We're dealing with one called Rutland Health in Ohio right now. And I think we've shipped, 35 kits out to them in the past 3 weeks. So there's 40,000 one-person practices. A practice size of 2 to 4, there's about 50,000. And practice size 5 to 10, there's about 45,000 of those. So when you call these, if you call these small practices 10 practitioners or less, there's about 135 of them across 135,000 across the country. That's one for every 3,000 humans in America. So what you can do is you can take your area, your neighborhood, your town, your city, your county, whatever it is that you feel like your stomping ground is. We live in Montgomery County, okay? And so Montgomery County has about 1 million people. It's a county just to the northwest of DC. And so if you divide 1 million by 3,000, then you get, I guess that's 3,000 practices, right? Did I do that right? Pat? I don't want to be off by a factor of 10 because that would offend my nuclear sensibility. 333 practices. Sorry, I was off by a factor of 10, but I sensed that I was, so that's almost as good as being correct. So 333 practices in this county fit that requirement. Okay, so figure out how big your county is, or your state, or your city, or wherever, again, your stomping ground is. Divide by 3,000, and that's how many small and medium practices there are for you to have as targets. And of those, 24 of 25 do not have RPM. All right, so forgive me for being a nuclear engineer and supposedly liking numbers, even though I just goofed up by a factor of 10. Um, but think about the numbers and think, okay, where's my area? On the south side of Chicago, where at least one of you who is listening to me right now is from, the south side of Chicago, just let's say there's a 2 million people live on that south side. So that means there's 600 small physicians practices, and that 24 out of 25 of them don't have RPM. Okay, so you don't have to go far. Just knock on doors and get appointments. So those are my numbers. I apologize for garbling them, but as you can see, we don't rehearse this before we do this webinar. So topic number one is the FQHC $200 million reimbursement. Topic number two is 100 Plus is the name of that company. Topic number three are numbers, 4% and one for every 3,000. And then topic number four is onboarding lessons. We are finding over and over and over again that the success of RPM in a practice is dependent upon the ongoing management of the RPM program. And this is one way in which we're better than 100 Plus, because we assign an account manager to every new client. And what we're finding is signing up the doctor and the staff is one thing, and shipping out a bunch of kits is another thing. But the real hard part, and the part that really makes the program work, is the engagement of the patient, keeping the patient using the system, keeping them on the system, and keeping that wheel spinning. Because if you just ship out 100 boxes to 100 patients, they'll all be gung-ho for the first week, and then 3 months later, 20% of them will be using the program. And that doesn't do anybody any good. Doesn't do the patients any good, doesn't do the doctors any good, doesn't do BlueStar any good, doesn't do the sales rep any good. So we're learning again and again and again that the onboarding process, but the keeping on board process is really key to the financial success and to the patient outcome success of this whole thing. And I don't have any more to say about it other than, as you're talking to doctors, that's the key. And that's where BlueStar is working very hard. And that's why we have this big office and these people behind me that are working on that every day, because that's what makes it tick. Okay. One, go out and get some of that $240 million federally qualified health center government reimbursement money. Two, when you get a chance, take a look at 100 Plus, and they have a cool website, but BlueStar actually provides the same convenience and more services. Three, remember 4% penetration, and four, remember that onboarding is key. So those are my items today. We had two questions from last week. One was about EKG codes. I could not find any specific EKG RPM or EKG specific RPM codes. That doesn't mean that they're not there, but I just didn't find any. And then I still owe our friend from New England information on the EKG calibration rules. So that's still on my list. Now I'm going to click on the big, one of our smartass people said, "You look sunburned. Have you been out on the boat?" And the answer is, yeah, I wish. So I think it's just my new short haircut that you can see more of my red Irish face. Either that, or we have a light here at the desk, which maybe is too bright today. But no, I wish. I'd like to get out on a boat soon. And then the second question is the physician office locked in under contract with 100 Plus for a set period of time? And that's a good question, and I don't know. And we are getting with some friends that are going to have a sales pitch by the 100 Plus people to them as a prospective customer. And so I'll ask them to ask that question. It's obviously, we have a problem because we're an RPM company, and when we call up Upward Health or 100 Plus or any other competitor and ask for a sales pitch, they decline. So we're going to get more information on those. As you know, BlueStar does not lock in the physicians for any contract for any set period of time. Okay, so two good questions. All right, I'm looking for more. Okay. Pat, anything that I need to add or anything that you want to add about onboarding? Okay. All right. Pat's in the background. You can't see him. He's in one of the cubicles back there, and I can't see him, but he's there and he's on the screen. And Pat is working our onboarding along with Gordon and then Carlos and Alan. So we have a team of people that's ready to onboard your clients. And my last pitch would be, please give me the opportunity to talk with the potential doctor or a potential decision maker. And I always say, just, hey, are you willing to talk with the Admiral for 20 minutes? And I think they'll find that it's not painful and is sometimes entertaining, sometimes not, but it's brief. And then we can give them an opportunity to try this out. Okay, it is now 1:19. We've been going for almost 20 minutes, and I'm looking to see what other questions are on the list. One of the questions here is, are more products coming out? Vital Tech, I have a list of a product roadmap that includes a fetal Doppler, Omron Health, activities for daily living, sleep tracking, fall detection, a Nonin pulse oximeter, a Mighty Sat, in the future, a stethoscope, additional ADLs, Samsung Galaxy Wear active watches, and an Apple Watch, a deeper integration with that. So those are things that are on the product roadmap. I can't give you the exact dates or times that they're going to show up, but they're on the list. Also on the product roadmap is additional Spanish language support, making this consent form for patients be electronic. There is additional messaging in the engagement model, and then additional alerts, which we can use alerts that determine different issues of, if you're green or yellow or red, you can have multi-tiered alerts. You can have alerts that are based on different parameters combined. So not just a temperature alert or a pulse ox alert, but an alert based on the combination of temperature and pulse ox. So there's a lot of cool stuff coming down the pike. I still find that most doctors are not interested in delving into the software. They want to know about the process, the staff requirements, the financial issues. And so I haven't had anybody that say, yeah, the software doesn't do what I want it to do. I think the software is robust, and that hasn't proved an impediment yet. Okay, any last questions? 10-second countdown. We like to try to keep these things short. They're posted on the web, and that way when new people come on board, we ask them to just go and watch 6 or 8 20-minute videos, and then hopefully they can get a sense of what's going on. All right, lacking any further comments, we'll go 3, 2, 1. That's the end of today's webinar. It'll be posted on the website. Thank you as usual for attending. And as usual, if you have any questions or you want to talk to me at any time or anybody on our team, just holler. We're here to serve you, and we're happy to give you whatever amount of time you possibly want. Remember that everything that we have that's available for the sales team is posted at BlueStarTelehealth.com/sales. Okay, I'll see you on the email on Friday, and see you again next week. Thanks, gang. Out.